Hello there. Well. What a crazy 24 hours it's been. Welcome to the channel. Back to the channel, if anything. Obviously, we've spoken on StrangeCast about it being a period where we recorded stuff in ahead. Adam's not here at the minute. He's taking a well-earned break. But obviously, news doesn't stop for anyone. And I decided to do this because I am like... it's such an exciting moment as well. We found out what Don't Nod Montreal's new game is. We've been covering that on this podcast for the better part of, close to 3 years by March. We've been covering it non-stop, so we've been covering every little detail and to finally get the reveal is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and there's so much to talk about. So I thought I'd just do an initial reaction video, and we'll just talk about it. I know people come here just for the news. I know people keep their content up to date because of this channel, so I thought I would do it. And obviously, I want to talk to some people, so leave comments in the comment section because I'll be floating around. You know that I respond to the comments because I'm stupidly excited for this game. But if anything, before we start as well, thank you to everyone who watched the Keighley interview. The comments were incredible, and all the support is great to see. So thank you so much for that. And I would have got to this earlier in doing this video, but I've been in the hospital for like 3 days this week, and I'm fine, by the way, just if you're wondering. And I've had like StrangeCast to do, and I've got work, and all these things happen. So I've just not had a chance to sit down yet and like talk about what we saw at the Game Awards. And this is being recorded on the Friday, and I don't think it's going to come out on the Friday unless I turn this over at a rapid pace, which will be crazy. But hopefully, it'll come out on the Saturday. It'll come out at some point soon. But either way, I wanted to like kind of talk to you about it because I'm like literally like I haven't like stopped grinning. I haven't been like happy. I've been like happy throughout the entire day. Because in like obviously the early hours in the morning, we got the Game Awards, we got Don't Nod Montreal's game that was revealed. But before we talk about that, if you are new here, please do consider dropping a subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, share with your friends. Helps you support the channel more than anything else, helps you keep up to date with the content on here. It's a very small channel, and obviously all the support is appreciated. And the like button is always very helpful as well, because there's one guy who just seems to, or woman, whoever it is, who basically likes to dislike all the videos. So I'm like, well, nice one for you. But if you can like the video, I would appreciate that. But for anyone new as well, hello, welcome. I host this channel. I build it around Deck 9 content, Life is Strange content, Don't Nod content. Very specifically, I have a podcast from my co-host Adam Evolt, who we do bi-weekly for Life is Strange, Don't Nod News, everything. So it's, we've got a following on there. We've got people who watch the videos, which are crazy. We've had actors on there. I've had a series called Life After Strange where we've interviewed Life is Strange actors. So go and check that out. There's so much content on the channel, so do check it out if you are new here and you've managed to find your way here through the algorithms. It's really appreciated, anyone who is new here. But obviously, the elephant in the room is Don't Nod Montreal's new game. So we have recorded the last episode of StrangeCast for this year, and we did it late November. And I was saying to Adam in the beginning of that episode, it's a predictions episode. Irony for anyone who wants to know. It's a predictions episode for 2024 for Don't Nod, Deck 9, Life is Strange, etc. And I said to him at the beginning, I was like, should we do the predictions for the Game Awards? Like, do you expect them to be there for Don't Nod Montreal? And it was kind of like a coin toss. I put a clip out on Twitter where I was like, I'm kind of expecting it, but then I'm not. And it's like I was kind of flip-flopping. But yeah, like 6 or 7 hours before the ceremony was held, we got basically a tweet from Don't Nod, which was like eyes emoji in the videotape. And then all the Don't Nod Montreal developers were doing the same thing. And it was like, yeah, it's going to be there. So I had to sit there through the Game Awards, and I've got my own opinions on that. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like a more nauseating show than I've ever seen. And that's the Game Awards. But anyway, if anything, I think it was about 3:00 in the morning, by the way. I'm in the UK, if anyone's ever wondering, and it was like 12:30 start time, and I think it was about 3:00 mark where Don't Nod Montreal's game came on. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I had to get up in the morning to go to the hospital and stuff. It's a crazy day for me. So bear with me if I sound really fast and rapid and very tired, because I'm a little bit, but I'm very excited nonetheless, and I want to talk about this. So let's tackle a couple of pieces, and we'll just talk about things. I've not got the scripted. There might be cuts and stuff. I'm just going to talk as I will, and obviously there'll be a more meatier conversation in the first episode of 2024 StrangeCast. I said to Adam, like, the topic's already solved for that episode. Like, we got that solved, so don't worry about that. But in the meantime, we'll talk about this on this video. Firstly, press release, obviously, which was Don't Nod announces Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, a brand new narrative adventure game developed by Montreal studio. So they put Don't Nod, an independent French studio that creates, develops, and publishes video games, is excited to reveal at the Game Awards Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, the first IP developed by Don't Nod Montreal. Bloom and Rage is the first game in the Lost Records universe and is a brand new story-driven journey through time from the creative minds behind Life is Strange, Lost Records. Lost Records. Bloom and Rage is scheduled to be released in late 2024 on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. So just a couple of details, and I'll just run these through as well. So we're on current gen consoles only. So we're doing the same thing that they did with Harmony. I think like the Don't Nod has done with those past generation consoles. So it's going to be current gen consoles only. I'm hoping a Switch release comes online, and I think it will, because this is going to be published and developed by Don't Nod themselves. So that's kind of like good for them, if anything. And I hope that they do put it on Switch. It seems like a game that will be great for Switch, if anything. And then obviously the big reveal straight away, which was the fact that this is already a universe. They've basically established this as a franchise. You know, they're going to make more games in it. So it's a Lost Records franchise, which is something I expected them to do. By the time we got to the game being released, I was going to be like, oh, they're going to be like, yeah, we've got more games planned. It's going to be a bit, maybe like an anthology series. It's going to be, you know, very similar to Life is Strange in the sense that you can franchise it and make series and installments. But they've gone straight up with it, which is quite cool. And I'm quite intrigued by what Montreal actually does with this going forward, of all the different stories that they can tell. And just creating a universe is a good starting point for them, because I said this with Don't Know. I was like, I think that they really want this IP to succeed. They really want the kind of like, you know, what they should have like had with Life is Strange and kept. They had that, but like, you know, Square Enix essentially has the license, so they can't do much about it. But anyway, just a couple of details there straight off the bat, and I think like the big one was the fact that it's a universe, which is, you know, mad. So hopefully, you know, a lot of things to be seen going forward. Reveal trailer. We'll talk about the teaser in a minute. The story, which is which really, 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 oh my god. So this was posted in the description of the YouTube video for Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and I tweeted about it. I was kind of like, when I watched the teaser and I noticed what happened, I was like, oh my god. I was like, I called it. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. But I'll read it here. So it's in Lost Records. Bloom and Rage, the magical summer of 1995 is one of self-discovery and foraging unbreakable bonds for high school friends Swann, Nora, Autumn, and Kat. 27 years of no contact later, fate reunites them to confront the long-buried secret that made them promise to never speak again. So, you know, we got a reveal of the 4 characters that we have there. Great designs, they look really cool, etc. But it was the fact that there's in the teaser as well, there's a time jump, which I was like, oh my god. I was like, yes. And I mentioned it part 2 so many times in the theory episode. I was like, I'm convinced that it's going to be some kind of like major inspiration from It Part 2. Like It Part 2 is going to be a massive inspiration for this game. And lo and behold, we get to this, and there it is. It's like, wow. It's like I'm like, you know, it's pretty much spot on. It's 27 years with that as well. And I tweeted about it during the show as well. And just to pull up the tweet here, I put the synopsis out there, and Chris Anderson from Life is Strange fans, you probably know him from that Twitter page, and also from the website and the community he's built, etc. I owe that man so many coffees as well, because like how many times he's tweeted our content. Replied saying 20-year gap, gotta be it reference, right? And I was like, I think so as well. I think it's it. My theory has always been around it and the idea of like these characters reuniting. And I watched back our Montreal Theories episode when I was going to my appointment today, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, so many things were so close. Like it must have been crazy for anyone to listen to that, even like Luke, and just hear how close we were. Things like, I think Adam says like we're gonna be in the 1990s, and I'm like, I agree with you on that. He's like, I think it's gonna be 1992, and the game is set in 1995. And he's like, I think we'll jump 30 years ahead, and we jump 27 years ahead. It's so mad. It's so mad how close we were on a lot of things. But very excited to see that so far. And just to run off here as well, Oscar Gilbert, CEO of Don't Nod, comments, and this is a quote from him: following our incredible experience with Life is Strange, which has just exceeded 20 million players in 3 years after the creation of our subsidiary in Montreal, I'm proud to unveil Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, the new intellectual property developed by our teams in Canada with the creators of Life is Strange offers an extraordinary experience. I'm thrilled to finally be able to share this news with our community. So that was Oscar Gilbert in the press release, and also Frederica Fournier-Jennings. Fournier, I hope I said your name right, Frederica. I'm so sorry. Who is the managing director at Don't Nod Montreal. Me and Adam have interacted with her on Twitter. really lovely person. You should go and follow her on Twitter as well. She is on Twitter, or X as they call it nowadays. She said, and I quote, "Over the past 3 years, we've been building a studio that echoes the strong values of Don't Nod and welcoming awesome people. So it's the perfect cauldron to develop a brand new IP that will be infused with who we are here in Montreal. To be able to talk about the Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is an indescribable feeling because it goes beyond the story of our characters. It's also about the team who has been carving our identity as a studio and that of the game, as well as those yet to come." So that was the press release, and I'm going to move on to an article here from Luc Baghadoust himself on News Xbox. This came out, and people are trying to pick. Hope people hear it. So bear with me. It's a really long article. I'm kind of just using this as kind of contextual stuff, so you kind of know everything. This is kind of a video that basically relays everything you need to know about the game from what we know so far, if anything. So Luke said in here, and I'll quote it from the very beginning, and bear with me again, as I said. "Hello, readers. I'm Luc Baghadoust, executive producer of Don't Nod Montreal's newly announced narrative game, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. I'm here to talk a bit about the game, our studio, and the teams involved in bringing this new story to life. We are thrilled to finally reveal at tonight's The Game Awards what we've been working on and are so proud of, a new game and a new series. Lost Records Bloom and Rage began after Michel Koch, creative director at Don't Nod Montreal, and I worked on Life is Strange 1 and 2 when we got the opportunity to kickstart a new adventure for Don't Nod, forming a new studio in Montreal. Expanding overseas had been a discussion for a while, and with strong support from Don't Nod Paris, we made the leap. Michel and I both already love North America, and the industry is vibrant here, with so many exciting studios and talents. A global pandemic was not something that we had anticipated, obviously, and it was a challenge to set everything up. Luckily, Don't Nod adopted a remote work policy company-wide, which enabled us to collaborate remotely. Creating a new team was a fascinating experience. Along with Don't Nod Montreal's managing director, Frederica, we are shaping the studio's vision and its projects. We were lucky to be able to bring Don't Nod's uniqueness and values to the Montreal scene. We brought with us key people who had been working on previous Life is Strange games such as Baptiste Moisin, our lead designer, and Juliette de Villiers. I hope I said your name right, Juliette. I'm so sorry. Our lead character artist, amongst others. We've also been able to attract a fantastic talent to the Montreal studio, a lot of whom had been impacted by those games and wanted to help us tell our new stories. So a big thank you to the team in Montreal and each new talent that has joined us and helped make all the pieces click together. Jean-Luc Cano, who wrote the scripts for Life is Strange 1 and 2, and his team of amazing writers collaborated closely with Michel in developing the story and characters of Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. We firmly believe that the characters delivered the best stories, and we think you'll all fall in love with Swann, Nora, Autumn, and Kat, 4 high school friends that form bonds over the course of a once-in-a-lifetime summer. Fate sees them reunite 27 years later after promising to never speak again. It's a reflective tale with friendship, emotion, mystery, and magical surrealism. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. Oh, this is great. Now about Lost Records. Bloom and Rage is the first game. Bloom and Rage is the first game in the Lost Records universe. We obviously wanted to continue creating narrative adventure games with a strong focus on characters that resonate with people. Bloom and Rage shares a lot of DNA with our previous games, but also innovates in some areas too. Making universe and having the stories within it interconnect with each other is something we've been dreaming of. The possibilities are endless, and the stories can tell within this universe are huge. Don't Nod Montreal is hard at work making sure we bring these ideas and games to life. So that was a long piece from Luke on Xbox's Xbox Wire, or the Xbox News website. They're also Lost Records is on X and Twitter. It's on Instagram and TikTok, so there are official channels, so you can go and follow them. But yeah, very exciting times for this. So yeah, I'm kind of like, there's so much to be said of it. I was so excited by it. I watched the trailer about 50 times. I've like generally watched it so many times. It was such a cool vibe. It reminded me of the trailers that we got early on for first Life is Strange. I was kind of there. I'm not being a hipster, by the way. I was there very early on. I remember following it when it had nowhere near the same following, and this game has like so many beats that match Life is Strange. Like even even outside the story when they're like talking about Luke was like the magic and everything else that they have, like these kind of themes that they're overlaying. It's so close to it. And I enjoyed the trailer, loved it. It was great. It was really nicely done. I think people really picked up a lot of Life is Strange, kind of like, similar kind of things. Like there's a like little part of where there's like those antlers, and it's kind of very similar, obviously, to Life is Strange 1. There's a shot that I posted on Twitter, which is of two of the characters, and they're on a bed, and it looks very similar to like Max and Chloe. I was like, oh, this is like Max and Chloe. Like it looks, it's kind of like very similar, like the way that they're sat, and it's like the way the camera works and the way they're shooting things. So yeah, it's all very exciting, and like, and in itself, I kind of read that article out from Luke there because there's so much to like talk about with their behind the scenes stuff. We've covered all of that. So Jean-Luc, if you've been following the podcast, you probably obviously know him before that. I'm not taking credit for Jean-Luc, by the way, but you know him from like the conversations we've had about it because they've talked about it. You know about Juliet, you know about Marsha, you know about Frederica. We've talked about these people non-stop in this podcast. It's been like literally every little tidbit of detail that we've got from this game we have covered, and it's like that's just it's just cool to see it finally come together for what it is. And just to let you know as well, I'm kind of leaving the space here empty because I'll put some visual feeds here and there where we talk about things. But generally speaking, I was very, very much sold on the trailer. It was cool to watch. Obviously, there's so many like I need to go back and watch finer details and see like if there's any like little references or Easter eggs or anything else in between it. You'll probably be able to pick up on all kinds of little things, but it was a cool vibe with it. And I put a screenshot out saying like, it's so cool to see how detailed the engine is and like how far they've come, because the first game that they just did mocap. It was just, body capture. They didn't do facial capture, they didn't do performance capture. Life is Strange 2, I think, was just body capture. I don't think they did anything different from that. From what we can tell, at least at this point, it does look like they've done body capture with the motion capture actors they have. But they have Philip Bark there, so wouldn't be surprised if they are doing motion, facial capture, and they're also doing performance directing as well. Like, he's such a talented voice director and also director in general. Like, people talk about him so highly, and I've had the chance to speak to like God knows how many actors who've worked with him. So it's like, it shows as well. It shows in the detail of it. Like, they've retained a new sense of art, and it's like, I said in the Furies episode, like when we were talking, I said like this could be like a game about a brother and sister, or a sister and brother, etc. Me and Adam were very close on that, but I also said it could be a bit like Stand By Me, where it has like a theme of like these kids who like friends. It's like this journey of a lifetime of like these kind of like it's once in a lifetime journey, and it's like there's so many different things I hit on. And same with It Part 2. That was the one thing that really stuck with me. I don't know why it stuck with me. I think it was just the VHS that was a kind of like a really big calling to me, if anything. And and it all hit. And if the trailer as well, the best way I can explain the trailer is like, it's like Stand By Me meets Stranger Things meets Life is Strange meets what's the other one? I was going to completely missed it now. It's off the top of my head. And It Part 2, sorry. So it's like It Part 2 meets Life is Strange meets Stand By Me meets Stranger Things. And it's like, that's like a winning formula for like so many people. But yeah, very, very excited. And if anything, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think of the trailer. It's so cool. Like, I replied to pretty much all the comments. I want to kind of put this video out there so people can talk to me about it as well, because it's just so much fun watching that trailer. And I've spoken to Adam about it for ages, so we've obviously got a great conversation coming up on that. But before that as well, we'll go into a couple of reaction things, and then I'll do one or two little things that I feel about the game, and we'll call it a day here, because I don't want to rant for too long, because obviously there's going to be a lot to talk about with this game. Okay, so yeah, there's so many tweets. I don't know how I'm going to fill it. There's so many tweets. All the Montreal developers are tweeting all kinds of things, and like, congratulations to them. It's incredible to get to that success. A majority of them were watching it together as well. There'll be a tweet here from Michel where he's put part of our Kick-Ass team stayed late tonight to watch our reveal, thanks to Joyce De Silva, level artist, for the photo, and there's a picture of them all there. So it's quite cool that they all got to watch it there. Obviously Michel's tweets were like he was jumping up and down in excitement, and same with Luke as well. Oscar Gilbert had tweeted about it as well. He put, after our incredible experience with Life is Strange, which exceeded 20 million players, and after the creation of Don't Nod Montreal, I'm proud to unveil Bloom and Rage, this new intellectual property developed in Canada with the creators of the Life is Strange series. Just cool nonetheless. And I thought there was just so many like tweets that you could pick out, which were just a lot of them, which were quite crazy. And I'm going to put another one up here. So I'm going to go to, I saw another one, which was from Marsha, who we've talked about on the podcast before, had previously left to go and work at EDS Montreal as a principal narrative designer, but worked at Don't Nod Montreal as on their narrative side, especially, and was such a big part of their narrative as a designer. She tweeted, "When this the game I worked on as a lead narrative designer for 3 years has finally been revealed. So proud," which is quite nice for her to finally get to talk about the game that she'd been working on for so long. Because obviously, we know it's been in development for ages, and it's now been revealed. So that was really cool to kind of see that she had the opportunity to share her thoughts about it. And obviously, as I said, we have another one here from Nina Freeman, who put the Lost Records Bloom and Rage trailer is here. I'm really excited about it because I'm currently the narrative designer for the game. Wow, so happy to share the news. Enjoy. There's so many others. Natox on Twitter. I don't know their actual name. Natox. They are a senior code designer, I imagine, at Don't Nod Montreal, and follows me on Twitter. Thank you for that, by the way. They put, so happy we can finally show a glimpse of what we're cooking with the amazing team at Don't Nod Montreal. Yeah, so many ones. Marion Eskian put, so proud to be working on this amazing project. Sorry. Juliet's tweeted as well, coming back to Twitter for 5 minutes to say, "I'm so proud to work on this game with so many talented and lovely people. I hope you'll love the characters as much as we do." So tons and tons of replies. Frederica put something out, and Marin put something out, and they're all in there. If you want to go and follow this game and stay up to date about it, you just go and follow them on Twitter. There's so many of them. They're all lovely people as well. They've all been nice to me as well, which is nice. I'm always happy about that. But they're all on there, so you can definitely go and follow them there. You can keep up to date with it. Kelly Reco put, "Let's go, proud of my team." Kelly's 3D artist at Don't Nod Montreal. By the way, I'm saying this as well because this is important for me to flag all these people, and I've said them repeat. We've said it from the very beginning, from Jean-Luc to Juliet, and I've mentioned it in here, from Joyce to Marin to Kelly to all these developers, because you saw at the Game Awards, it was such a absolute mess, that show, in so many ways. So many developers were just getting hoovered off very quickly. It's Geoff Keighley needs to work out if he wants an award show or if he wants a world premiere stage, which is equivalent to E3. Just decide one, because you can't usher people away after 30 seconds of a speech or 20 seconds, and then you cram 20 adverts in there. I found it quite disappointing that no one from Montreal was there, for example. Montreal was just fit in between God knows how many trailers. It's why didn't they bring someone out there? Why didn't they take Luc or Michel out there, from the Game Awards specifically? I'm in their position. Fly them out and be like, "Oh, we'll have one of them on the stage introducing it, or we'll bring them on afterwards and we can just ask them 1 or 2 questions quickly." It was just "Oh, here's the new game from Don't Know Montreal, and this is a game being developed by Montreal, and we'll move on to the next one." I was like, what are you doing, Geoff Keighley? It's absolute mess. I'm going to say that as well. I was not very impressed with the Game Awards in any way, shape, or form. But also, Marin put out stuff as well. He's a brand manager at Don't Know Montreal. Tweeted, working on the game reveal for the past 2 months has been one of the best experiences of my career. I hope everyone sees the love and care we've put in creating Cat, Swann, Autumn, Nora, and the world around them. Can't wait to share more. I'm so excited, man. There's a moment in the trailer as well. I think it's one of the characters, and she has a camcorder, and she's recording it. It's just Max Caulfield vibes. I'm like, that is Max. It's we have a new Max in the making. She's so similar to Max in that. And then also as well, as I said, Frederica could not be prouder. As simple as it gets. You don't really need to explain more than that. It's just the excitement levels were through the roof, and there's so many developers on there. I haven't scraped the surface of how many developers who have actually tweeted about, which is crazy. But there's important part, give them an identity and give them a face, which is important. So go and check out their reactions. It's quite cool to see all that and to talk about it. But yeah, as I said, I'm not going to waffle on too much because I can do that for ages, and Adam usually has to put up with that. But one of the other things that we noticed as well, and I'll cut into the segment, which is, who are the characters? So obviously there's 4 characters. Now, I'll be very specific with this. Even in the trailer, they don't really refer to each character. They don't give them any names. Even the article Luc had wrote for Xbox and had spoken to them about, and even in the press release, they never tell you who's who. And even now, they're not telling you who's who. It's like, who is who in this? And there's a picture of it as well. And I'll put the tweet up here. And I think it'll be from Player One versus the World. And we tweeted it saying, who's who in this photo. And people are replying to it and trying to figure out who's who in there. I think I've worked out who's who. So I genuinely think I've done this. And by the way, as well, if anyone has watched this channel for like the better part of 3 years or so, you obviously know my detective skills are like the most atrocious thing ever. But I decided to take an attempt on it because I've kind of a little bit cheated as well. So
Hey there, it's future me. So yeah, we got this wrong, the characters' names. During the post-production, Michel actually responded to us on Twitter, and he put, and I quote, "I can say that you got some things right and some wrong." So we're going back to the drawing board. But either way, I'll let my past self continuously obliviously think he's got this prediction right. Enjoy.
I'll put the picture up so you can see it. And I'm going to go from left to right. So I think the characters are in order are Nora, Swann, Cat, and Autumn. That's what I think that the characters are, what their names are. Because otherwise, at this point, we don't have any clarification on that. I think they're withholding it on purpose as well. I think they don't want you to know who they are because there'll be a detailed timeline down the, further down the line that will reveal things. I think they don't intentionally want you to know who's who specifically. That's also relatable to the actors. The actors are on social media. They have tweeted about this. They have They've posted things on social media, especially Instagram. They've posted like the video, which is like it's the game's reveal at the Game Awards, and they've been like, "I played X character." However, they haven't put a picture next to them saying, "I'm this character specifically." They're like, "I'm Cat, I'm Autumn, I'm Swann," and it's like, hang on a minute, like which one's which though? So none of them have actually put the picture of the character they play with. So sometimes when you have actors who kind of like finally talk about the games they've worked on, then yeah, they usually put the trailer or they put something out, and then it's like the next slide on Instagram they'll put as the picture of the character playing. None of them have done that. However, they have confirmed who they are. So, and I'll put the tweet here as a follow-up tweet, which will be from the Player One versus the World after the ones I marked with which character I think is who. There's a follow-up tweet, which is obviously we've spoken about this on StrangeCast. If you follow us, you know it, which is the motion capture photo. So the 4 actors that are in there. I think this is why we've kind of deduced it as well, because I think that from what we know, from what I've discovered, Natalie LeConte has said that they are Cat. Natalie said they are Cat. Andrea Carter said they're Autumn. Olivia said they're Swann. Now, Amelia is the only person that I don't know what character they're playing. I don't know. I can't access her Instagram. Apologies about that. I try. I can't access Amelia's Instagram. It's private, unfortunately. And I imagine that they've posted it, but it will confirm. I assume that they are Nora. It makes sense because you have 4 actors here, 4 characters. So that's going to be the reveal for me. Now, this is where you do the deduction. So obviously, Andrea is Autumn. That's given for me. If anything, like I can't, that's a good one for me. Now, Olivia Lepore, I'm convinced is Swann. Now, and the thing is as well, I think that the characters kind of look a little bit alike to the people that are playing them. I don't know if they've done performance capture. I don't know what they've done at this point. I think facial capture must have been done. These characters look quite similar a little bit. Like if you look at Olivia Lepore's photos and you look at Swann's photos, Swann is obviously the second from the left in this way that the video is positioned. Got the dungaree on. That's Swann, according to me. Swann looks a lot like Olivia. Swann looks a lot like Olivia. That's why I'm deducing it from that. And then between that, Amelia as Nora and Natalie as Cat, I've got. And I think that would be set that those 2 actors are playing these characters. However, I don't know if I've got the order right on them. I think that Cat is going to be Natalie. Natalie has some pictures that I've seen where Natalie's looks like Cat to an extent, just facially at least, if anything. And then with Amelia looks quite a lot like Nora. just facially wise, if anything, for me at this point. Like if you look at the motion capture picture and then also the key art picture that we put in the tweet, the similarities are there. So I think that's my thought. I haven't been able to confirm it. I haven't been able to verify this. People are replying on the tweet that we put out, and people are guessing their own ways. It's interesting to see what people think. I think that I've got the right order, personally speaking, and I think that'll be quite a triumph if I've actually got this as well, just based on that. So that's my guesswork, if anything. Let me know what you think in the comments, actually. So let's hear your thoughts. Do you think I've got all 4 right in the right order? If the tweet's still here or not? But tell me if you think I've got the 4 right, because I'm pretty convinced that I've got at least 2 right, and then the other 2 could be a switch around, if anything. But I think I've got the 4 right in that order. So let me know what you think. Let me know your order of characters. And generally speaking, I'm as I said, there's a lot more to talk about this game, if anything. But I'll kind of wrap up here anyway, because I think there's a lot more of a meatier conversation to be had with Adam. Like there's so much to talk about. I think we could talk about for 3 or 4 hours. I'm so hyped for it. Adam's hyped for it. We love the trailer. It's so cool. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but there are some things that I'm kind of like with Square Enix, Don't Nod really needs to kind of like hit the marketing run on this, because even on like Life is Strange Reddit, people didn't really know what this is. There was so many people thinking it's going to be like Jusant DLC, or it's going to be this, or it's going to be that. Maybe I'm more in tune with what's happening with Don't Nod, where it's like I've been following the news for 2 or 3 years, where it's like I know that this logo represents this game, or this logo represents that game. Maybe it's just because of the way that I've kind of like spent my life basically like following this news. But I think it's important for them to really market it now, because like the game was revealed and then people are kind of like, its Twitter account at the minute has less than 2,000 followers, and it's like, Life is Strange is like excess amount. It's like it hit the next level of stardom, but this is now kind of like it's going to be a big, like, they have to really nail the marketing on this Don't Nod. And I think like the game is quite appealing in itself. Like, we've been speaking a lot about Gen Z and millennials and stuff on like recent podcast episodes. Like this has the vibes for anyone who's like obviously like an elder millennial like myself. Like I can relate to all the nostalgia and stuff. And I think it relates to Gen Z because it's like got that Stranger Things vibe. It's got that, the kind of the LGBTQ plus background as well on there. So it's like I think it appeals to a lot of people. If anything, there's quite a lot of like spectrums it appeals to. But I think that they really need to hit the ground running with this and get the marketing behind it, because obviously we're coming out in 2024 and Life is Strange never had the success that it did until like it was carried by like, for example, like influencers, and popularity kind of skyrocketed on it. It went so quiet for ages. Like you don't understand like when I was writing the industry, anyone who's been in journalism, anyone who's written for Google and stuff, like the SEO position, which is search engine optimization, I was ranking so high on Life is Strange articles. Like I think at one point, Hardcore Game, the top rated game that we were covering was Life is Strange for ages. I still think it's in their top 5 or something. It was like the amount of views that they attracted from it, because they ranked so highly, because we were writing so many articles about it, and not even clickbait ones or whatever it was. It's actual like content, because no one else was covering it, giving it that much exposure. And then obviously when the skyrocket popularity goes up, your traffic goes up as well, because people are going to be wanting to read about it and like follow it and etc. So I think like for them, marketing is going to be a really big thing to like really, really drill home and get through, because I think that's the worst thing that they're dealing with at the minute, because people are like, oh, it's Life is Strange 4, oh, it's like this. It's like, no, it's not. We know it's not Life is Strange 4, but most people just don't tune into that. They think that, oh, Don't Nod's eventually going to come back to Life is Strange. We don't know if Don't Nod's ever going to come back to Life is Strange. I think that this, for example, for them to immediately reveal the fact that they're making this into a universe, that tells you pretty much where they feel about Lost Records. They're seeing it as their kind of like their future for a lot of things, and fair play to them as well. They can create something special with it. So if anything, like I think this is a bit of a warning call to Square Enix as well. I always said to people as well, I know love lost to Square for like a lot of things. Like Square has done some very questionable things, and I don't ask for anything in return for this channel. This is just more of a hobby and just to keep chatting about things. But they really need to shape Life is Strange's identity, like ASAP, prompto. Like they need to get that series up and running in like a very efficient workhorse way. Because, for example, if this hits, if at any moment Lost Records hits the same success Life is Strange done, that could potentially be the nail in the coffin for Life is Strange. They can't compete with what Don't Nod does. Don't Nod's storytelling is very different. Don't Nod and Deck Nine storytelling is very different, and in their own right, they're both great. I always said this as well. I think they're both great in their own kind of way. but the Don't Nod way that they do things, and especially that first Life is Strange, it's why it's always stood head and shoulders above every other game in the series. Most people connect with it more than any other game in the entries in the series. And I think like Square Enix is really gonna have to like step itself up. I don't think it can be complacent right now. I really don't think it can be complacent. I was kind of thinking this during the entire trailer. I was like, this game was like has captivated me in a way. Like, you know, you can see the excitement I have. Like, I wouldn't be doing this video, and I'm very like, you know, I've got very like thingy face about anything. But like when excitement hits me, you can see it in my face, and I'm very excited for this game. But that's when I was like, thinking about it at the same time watching the trailer. I was like, oh, actually, what's going to happen to Life is Strange now? It's like, can it compete with this? Will it be able to compete with this? You know, think about like who's working on this game from like Montreal. Like Jean-Luc's working on it. He worked on the first 2 Life is Strange games with the scripting. Michel's working on this. He's directing the game. He's the co-director on the first 2 Life is Strange games. Luc's working on this game. He's producers on the first 2 Life is Strange games. It's like, you know, Juliet, you know, Baptiste. It's like you got the stack of alumni talent from Life is Strange that can like basically work on this game, and you're thinking like, what Square got at this point? Like, you know, if they've not got anything from Don't Nod, they've just got the Deck 9 games. So it's a big warning call for Square, if anything. So I think there's a lot to be, you know, like, you know, questioning going forward for Life is Strange. But more so, if anything, this is more about Don't Nod's game. It's very exciting to know that. I very much expected this to come out in 2024. I thought that they might even give it a release date, but no, they've only given it in a window. It's going to be late 2024. That would make sense. Obviously, Banishers is coming out in February, I believe it is, in the first quarter of 2024, having been pushed back. And in itself as well, like I've always said this as well, because I invest in companies, I like, you know, take an interest in that. When Don't Nod's a publicly traded company, you basically know what they're going to do, because they have shareholders. They have to tell their investors, you know, what games are coming out, when they're coming out, and they kind of have to do that through what they expect in, like, you know, bookings in terms of sales that they're expecting, etc. That's why GTA, for example, whilst people are surprised it's 2025, it was either going to be 2024 or 2025. Like their CEO Take-Two has already said like they're expecting record booking levels and all this other good jazz in investor calls. So for like Don't Nod, it was expected that this game would come out in 2024 or 2025, but the likelihood was going to be 2024, if anything, in their pipeline of games. So exciting nonetheless. Obviously, you have Banishers, which will kick off the year, which will be quite nice for Don't Know. Then this will come out later on in the year, which will be quite nice. And I think that this will hit its target easily within a release date. Still don't know much about the details, don't know about it structured, etc. But we'll learn that as time goes on. And obviously, we will very much cover that on StrangeCast, which will be great to keep on top of. But either way, I know this video's gone on for a while, but there's so much to talk about. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like I spent 3 years like covering this game, like 4 years, like however long it is. I've followed like Luc and Michel's work since 2014, like, and that was in between a period where I left and re-entered the industry. Like, you know, I reviewed the first Life is Strange game, I reviewed the second Life is Strange game professionally. Did so many interviews, like followed their work. You know, I don't like, the greatest compliment I can give them is like, I'm all really excited about their games and like Kojima games. Like I don't, outside of that, it's like if something else comes, I'm like, oh, that's great. But it's like those are the 2 premier developers that I care about, and especially more so like with Luc and Michel. Like it's when they're doing something I'm interested in, I'm like really keen on it. And like this was like something I was kind of like a little bit of like a giddy schoolboy, because I was like 9 years in the making, like having gone from following them all the way back in 2015 up to 2023, and now going to 2024. It's crazy. So yeah, very excited nonetheless, and I hope you're all excited as well. I hope you're very keen to stay on top of it. And by the way, as well, I mean, look at the influence that it's had on this channel. Like this channel would not exist if Michel and Luc didn't have the impact that they had on my life. Like they had a massive impact on my life. Like Life is Strange had a massive impact, and this is why the channel exists. Like the entire StrangeCast logo, we revamped that, and we intentionally did it with the VHS because it's an influence on us. Like we talked about Don't Know Montreal's games so much that I wanted the designs to be in that. I said it to Adam, I was like, I want the VHS to be the kind of design of the logo. And it's like, as I said, this channel would not be here. You would not be watching this video if Luc and Michel didn't have the impact that they had on my, like, you know, life from 2015 onwards, like to be covering this and coming back. Because I basically left the industry completely when I last reviewed Life is Strange 2. I think it was 2018. I was done and dusted. I was like, I'm not coming back to video games. I'm moving on, etc. And then 2020, I started this channel up, and I was like, I want to use it as a platform to kind of cover Deck 9, Don't Nod, you know, games and Life is Strange games, and also what they're doing in Montreal and stuff. So it's quite exciting to kind of be like, this channel is up and running, it's got everything going for it, and then, presto, games being revealed. It's like we can carry on through to 2024. Anyway, as I said, we'll wrap up here. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful as well. Again, leave me in the comments. Let me know if you think I got the characters right in order. If you haven't, let me know what you think as well. And let me know what you think about the game. I'm not even doing it for engagement bait. I like hearing other people's opinions. I always reply to people in the comments. Anyone who's been on this YouTube channel knows that I like people showing their faces, and kind of like I know people who come here, and then some other people who surprise me who haven't dropped messages and stuff. So do leave me your thoughts in the comment. But one more time, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and share with your friends. Again, helps you support the channel. It's a very small channel, and it helps you helps me more than anything else, just keep it going, keep it float. And also, as well, as I said, StrangeCast will be out later this month. That'll be episode 60, so it's massive as well. That turns StrangeCast, I think, turns free in March, which is crazy that it's been going for 3 years. But yeah, episode 60 comes out later this month, so stay tuned for that. That will come out. That is obviously, again, pre-recorded, so you'll have it from our previous things. There might be more content coming to the channel. I might even do like a news roundup for the entire month of December, because I've been thinking like we've not had any news segments in 2 StrangeCast episodes. And again, people found this to be a news channel, if anything. So I want people to kind of come here if they want to kind of keep up to date with the news. So definitely, maybe we'll consider that if people want me to do like a news roundup. And also as well, one more thing, someone actually messaged me on Instagram. I'm not going to mention their name, and I don't know why we haven't talked about this ourselves. Hannah Tell's got new music. Go and check it out, man. Like, everyone loves Hannah. Hannah is just the best. Like, if you come here and you're not in tune with the community and you don't follow Hannah, and Hannah's making loads of music. I think she did it. Santa Monica Dreams. I think she did a cover of Life is Strange song. I was using the first Life is Strange. Like, that's a dream. Go and check it out. Go and listen to her music. So that's a plug. And thank you to the person that messaged me as well. I don't want to give your identity away in case you don't want to know, but like, they just messaging me saying you should really kind of like cover it if you haven't covered it. So I was like, you know what? We've pre-recorded everything. This is the first video that's not pre-recorded. Go and check Hannah's music out. It's great. And hopefully we can get it back on the channel as well at some point to kind of talk about it. Nonetheless, let me know what you think. I'm so excited for this game. I'm so excited for this game. Either way, take care. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let me know what you think about Don't Nod Montreal's game. And until next time, see you later, guys.